Alrighty, guys, so I'm sure you've seen right now, Square stock, also known as Block, is up 16% right now. We have to break that down in this video and talk a little bit about the key financial highlights from their recent earnings report. And I want to go over a stock that I'm considering just locking in profits, running away with the gains, and maybe entering back at a later price, but who knows, right? We're going to break that down in this video. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your coffee, hit that like button, and feel free to subscribe as always. I appreciate you guys as always. And with that being said, let's dive into the video. So it's about 11:30 a.m. when I'm filming this on Friday, November 4th, and the S&P 500 and quite frankly, all of these indexes are up the same amount. It's pretty weird. The Russell, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the S&P, they're all up between 0.91 to about 0.95%. So pretty much up 0.9 to 1% right now. And what we're noticing is the VIX is also down. Silver's up 6%, which is unreal. And I actually mentioned this in my Patreon video this morning. Silver is up and breaking out completely. And we are actually heading towards the highs now from the end of, actually more like the beginning of October here at about 21.50 an ounce. That's going to be a huge point for silver. You know, we're forming a bit of a cup here. Let's see where we break out, or if we even break out. You know, if we do take out 21, 22 bucks, there's going to be a lot more upside in silver, in my opinion. And this thing has been so volatile. I mean, a couple weeks ago, it was up 9% in a day. We've seen many trading days where it's either up or down 3 to 5%. I mean, this thing is all over the place, but now it's starting to look, in my opinion, pretty bullish. So silver, you guys got to watch that. SLV is an ETF that you could potentially look at. I'm not telling you what to do, but this pretty much just tracks the price of silver. And looking at SPY, going back to this, on the 20-day chart or even on the 4-hour chart, you can see we're still trading in this channel. My alert's at 380, which that's a sticking point right now. 380 right by the 50 SMA here. That's got to break. If it does, maybe we see a shot towards the highs from a couple days ago, maybe back towards 400. I don't know. I'm not calling for that until we see that 380 break, which right now we're only in the mid 370s. We'll see. And for Triple Q, if I pull it up, let's take a look here, guys. Triple Q is up 0.9% and it's holding on by a thread right at 260. That was support a couple of weeks ago. You guys can see that if 260 breaks, we're probably going 255, but if we end up ripping past, let's say, 265, which I might as well put an alert there too, which right now we're at 263, we could see a little short-term rally, maybe towards the moving averages. We'll see, guys. Time will tell. Right now, it's Friday. You know, we're pretty, I don't want to say flat today, but it's more of just a consolidation day. We're slightly up, nice, after getting clobbered the past couple of days. So we'll see what happens next week. I'm personally being patient here, but again, later in the video, we're going to talk about a stock that I might be locking in profits on pretty soon here. So let's get into what's moving. And by the way, crude oil, we'll talk about that for a second here. Crude oil is moving. It's up 4%, starting to break out. Watch for the mid-90s push here. $94, that's a big spot on crude oil. Let's take a look at Square. Square's up when I'm filming this 16% at about 11:30 a.m. on the East Coast. And look at this. The inverse head and shoulders is playing out. We're now going to test probably $63-ish. I mean, we're right there right now. And if we end up breaking that, high 60s, mid-60s, this is where it could be going in the very short term. Then from there, maybe 70s. And we can see here on the intraday chart, big move. We saw a big move after earnings yesterday. This thing went up 17% right off the bat, and it's held those gains, and it actually took the highs out from the aftermarket. We hit those highs today at about 11 a.m. on the East Coast, just 40 minutes prior to me filming this video. So key highlights, total net revenue was $4.52 billion in the third quarter, which is up 17%. Obviously, the growth is not what it was, the year before that, but 17% year over year. And excluding Bitcoin revenue, listen to this. This is very important. Excluding Bitcoin revenue, total net revenue am I on the wrong line? Yeah, total net revenue, I have a lot of notes here, guys, in the third quarter was $2.75 billion, up 36% year over year. So without Bitcoin revenue, $2.75 billion, that's up 36% year over year. So that goes to show a lot of, the growth is being slowed down, I guess you could say, by the Bitcoin revenue, and Bitcoin revenue still makes up a good amount of Square's overall revenue at this point in time, which makes it for me a pretty risky investment, to be honest. That adds a ton of risk, at least for me. I don't know. I'm not saying crypto is trash or it's going it's going to go to the dumpster next year or 2 years from now, but it just adds an extra bit of risk. And if you're denying that, I don't know what to tell you. Sure, it could add a lot of extra reward, but more risk as well, right? So in the third quarter of 2022, they generated gross profit of $1.57 billion, up 38% year over year. Pretty good. Cash App generated gross profit of $774 million, up 51% year over year, and Square generated gross profit of $783 million, up 29% year over year. So looking at gross profit, guys, that is not bad. I mean, that's growing at a pretty nice clip there across some segments. And Square generated this is pretty interesting to me. It's not that much revenue in terms of the overall pie, but they generated $332 million of subscription and service-based revenue during the third quarter, which is up 104% year over year. So that is growing heavily, guys. And that, I mean, if it's growing 100%, I don't know if it's going to do that every year from year on out. Obviously, it's not. It's not going to do that. But at that point, this could end up, or at this point, with this growth and the 3-year compounded annual growth rate is about 49%. This could become a huge part of the business. It's already becoming a nice chunk. It's getting to a point where it could get even bigger at this rate of growth, just looking for the next couple of years, right? So those are some key financial highlights. And again, revenue slowed down tremendously for this company, and the stock already knew that. It's priced in. I mean, look how bad the stock has come down. $149 is where it was back in March, but forget about where it was back in March. Look at where it was back in August of 2021. The stock was $290 a share. Now Square is at $62 a share. It is down 80%, and the market cap, I'm not exactly sure what it is. If you guys give me a second here, let me actually look it up. But I mean, at one point, I think Square's market cap was like 60-70 billion, was it not? I mean, actually way more than that. Right now, it's a $36 billion market cap. So at one point, this thing had to have been whatever that was, 100 something, right? I can't do the reverse math right now, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's down a lot. Let's just put it that way. It is down a ton, and I'm not saying it's a bargain basement value right now. It's probably not, to be honest. It needs to come down a little bit more. I have to do more research in it, but it's one of those stocks that it's a growing company, and if you want to take the flyer on it, hold it for a couple of years. It could work out. I'm not saying it will for sure. I personally don't own it, full disclosure, but it's one of those that it could work out. But again, a lot of risk is added with them having a ton of Bitcoin revenue exposure, a lot of the revenues from that. So that makes me a little bit nervous. I'd like to know what you guys think about that down below in the comments. And if you haven't gotten your $10 from Moomoo yet, plus up to 15 stocks, what are you doing? It's free money. It also helps out the channel. It's a win-win here, guys. I appreciate you all as always. Use that link down below. Deposit at least $100. And again, you get $10 guaranteed plus up to 15 stocks, each up to $2,000 for Moomoo. Down below. And now let's talk about what I'm looking to potentially just get out of, especially today. Looking at today, it being Friday, it's not like the markets are rallying like crazy, but this stock is rallying pretty crazily. It's Nvidia, guys. It's up 5% right now, and I'm not going to sell out of it, I feel like, completely quite yet, but I'm at the point where I'm heavily considering it. If we end up shooting up towards the 150, 60 range, and that's kind of what it's setting up to be right now. And we have earnings coming up on Nvidia in the middle of November, so I feel like, and if you guys didn't know, I bought Nvidia not even too long ago, just no joke, 2 weeks ago at $120 a share. Now I'm up $20 a share on it, and originally I wanted to hold it as a long-term investment, but at this point, it's getting to a point where it's not like it's ran all the way to 200 or something crazy, but it's up to where I don't want to buy shares in the mid-hundreds. I was hoping to build out the position under $100, and sure, it could go to under $100 at this point, but I'd rather just potentially take the gain here before the earnings. That who knows how the earnings are going to look. The last thing I want to get caught in, guys, this is kind of the dilemma I'm in. The last thing I don't want to get caught in would be, let's say Nvidia runs to 150 or something, right, before the earnings, which are on the 16th. Yeah, 16th. Let's say it does that, and then the earnings bomb, and then boom, it tanks $40 after the bell, and then I'm back to my cost basis, right? That's kind of what I'm trying to avoid here. And we'll see. I mean, I'm leaning towards, especially today, it's up 5% right now. I'm leaning towards maybe trimming a little bit, half of it, and letting the rest ride for next week, with maybe the intention of selling, or maybe with I guess, yeah, the intention of selling the other half if it does get towards 145, 150. And who knows, I might sell the entire position before the earnings. But I'm leaning towards selling half of it either right now after this video or at some point later today. And we'll see. If it ends up getting back towards 120, under 120, towards $100 a share, which I believe is totally possible, this could be one that, well, it will be one that I'll be buying back. But right now, I'm thinking this is a bear market rally on NVIDIA. It didn't work out. Timing didn't work out perfectly. Well, I guess it did. It ended up being a short-term trade, and that's why I'm considering. Well, it wasn't a short-term trade to get into it. It was a long-term investment, but just the way it bounced perfectly after I bought it, I'm just like, maybe I should take this little 15% gain. You know what I mean? And then just move on, right? What do you guys think? Seriously, I've talked about this on the channel before, but I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm going to sell. That's the reality. I'm going to lock in these gains. These markets are crazy. NVIDIA is probably going to come back down, and in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be looking at this, and I'm going to be like, dang it, I should have sold if I didn't sell, right? But I'm looking to sell, right? So what do you guys think? I'm rambling a little bit here. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button. Check out my Patreon if you guys want. That's linked down below. And don't forget to get your $10 plus up to 15 stocks from Moomoo and your 12 stocks from Webull with any amount deposited. All of those are linked down below. And with that being said, guys, cheers. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.